Hey guys, I'm Lee Taylor. That's the brand new Mazda MX-5 GT RS, and this is a Right Lane review. Mazda's motorsports heritage runs deep, and since 1989, the MX-5 name has been bringing the old-school Roadster fun to the masses. The formula is pretty simple: free revving engine, manual gearbox, lightweight, and rear-wheel drive. This is truly one of the last affordable pure sports cars left, and she's been to the gym. The GT RS hosts a few little chassis tweaks and upgrades, hoping to give the ND MX-5 a bit of a sharper edge. So what is the pipe-size pipsqueaks party trick? Well, the party trick is this car has in fact been to the gym, but it hasn't been lifting weights. It's been leaning out and getting better in the muscle department. So this car is now riding on Bilstein shock absorbers specifically tuned for the GT RS, a new set of shoes in the form of lightweight BBS wheels and Potenza tires, a new braking setup out front from Brembo, as well as some chassis bracing to help the car be a bit more stiff. Overall, it makes this car a joy, and the MX-5 was already a joy to drive. Mazda's been using the MX-5 as an entry to motorsport for many years, and in the US there's an MX-5 Cup based on these ND models. And you can really feel that DNA in the car. Now when you're driving the car every day, it's a small Roadster, so it's easy to park, relatively easy to see out the front, though the back is a little bit blocked off thanks to the top, but like we are right now, you have all the space in the world with the top down. Parking is easy, seeing out of it's fine. The tech is okay. So you're working with last generation safety tech, so it has forward collision warning, but no forward stop assist. It has lane keep warning, but no lane keep assist. You do have blind spot monitors and a rear view camera, but only rear sensors. But think about it, you're in a car this small with a footprint this tiny, you don't need a ton of that tech. Though I wouldn't mind a little bit more digital dash, for example. So the dash is good, and I really like the big center stack or big center dial, but on the right there with the speedometer, it's a bit hard to read sometimes when you're going around corners. So if maybe they gave it a small heads-up display or put it as a digital unit, it might be a bit better. But you do have a gear indicator and a nice screen on the left so you can see temperatures and that sort of thing. So it's all in all a nice place. But you don't buy an MX-5 to take to the shops every day. I mean, you could, easy enough, but it's not its sole purpose. This car is designed to be driven with the top down on a back road or a windy park lane like we are today and just enjoyed. Dynamically, the MX-5 has always shown out. It's a light car. It only weighs about 1,000 kilos, so it's next to nothing in weight. It's got a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, and it likes to rev. You really have to work the engine to get it to sing to you. And once you get up in the revs, the car makes about 137 kilowatts and 205 newton meters of torque, which isn't a lot. I mean, it's on par with, a peppy Mazda 3. But you have to remember, this car weighs next to nothing, so that really helps. Though around town it is a bit gutless at low speed. Again, just rev it out, you'll be fine. You'll be glad you did. In the hands, though, is where this car really shines. Mazda has a brilliant way, like I've said before, of creating a car that feels very Mazda-esque. It's light on its feet. The steering in this car, though electrically assisted, weights up beautifully, and it communicates to you everything you'd ever want to hear or feel. I reckon you could tell if a penny was heads or tails in this thing. The gearbox is lovely. It's a beautiful 6-speed unit, and the gear shift is kind of a snickety-snick moment. It's great. And the pedals, though a little bit offset to the right, mainly because this is a right-hand drive variant, are perfect for heel and toe. Another thing that this car does really well, that actually a lot of sports cars don't do well, is throttle response. So despite this car being a drive-by-wire system, so there's no actual cable connected from the accelerator pedal to the engine, it's all done electronically, it's lightning fast. So when you blip the throttle to go down a gear, she responds immediately. And that's really satisfying for someone like me who really enjoy the pure pieces of the driving experience. And this car, I would say, is exactly that. It's a lovely, pure little driving experience. And it begs. And the thing about a car like this is You don't have to go very fast to love it and enjoy it. Short gearing, lightweight. You can go the speed limit up your mountain road, which most cars probably wouldn't be able to go the speed limit up a mountain road, and still love every second of it. There's not that many pure sports cars out in the world anymore, and many of them have now become incredibly expensive. So the closest you're going to get to a Roadster nowadays is going to be a Z4, which is a hardtop convertible, a Mercedes SLC, another hardtop convertible, and after that it's 2+2 proper, GT style convertibles. So it's not that many two-seaters. I mean, you have the GT86, but there's not a convertible option. And to be fair, the new 86 promises to be a heck of a car. But this is probably still the best small, affordable, lightweight Roadster. And it's a formula that's worked for many years. Little engine out front, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed transmission, low weight, 100% tossable. So how's the cockpit on the MX-5? Well, it's quite compact and small, but there's plenty of room for someone like myself who is 6 foot. Though if you're much more than 6 foot, you might want to test drive one just to be safe, though headroom once the top is down is not exactly a problem. You do have a nice Mazda sport wheel directly in front of you, and it feels great in the hands. Big gauge cluster with a massive tachometer. The speedometer on the right is a little bit hard to read at speed, but it's okay. I kind of wish it put the speed on the digital screen here on the left, but that's all right. Infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are actually wireless. Heated seats, automatic climate, have a nice Bose stereo, which has speakers in the headrest. The seats are lovely, speaking of headrest, nice and comfortable, though I wouldn't want to be in them more than a few hours. Space-wise, there isn't a ton of cubby space. You have this little nook here for like a phone, a little bit of space in the armrest. These cup holders are quite nifty because they can be moved about from the inside or on the edge here. There's only 2. And a kind of glove box compartment thing, but then again, not a ton of space. By far though, my favorite thing is the ease in which the convertible top works. I reckon it's probably one of the fastest in the business, and it can be done with one hand. Super easy. So how's the boot in the back of the MX-5? Well, to start with, it's a little bit tricky to get into because the button's actually down by the license plate, or you can use the button on the fob. Once you're inside, there's about as much space as you'd expect. Enough for a carry-on bag, maybe a small bag of golf clubs and some other soft bags, and that's about it. You're definitely not going for long trips in the car, and you're definitely not running to Bunnings or IKEA for larger items. You also have a tire repair kit because there is no spare tire in the back, because that would be just extra weight. So what's the tops, bottoms, and final verdict for the 2021 Mazda MX-5 GT RS? Well, on the bottom are a few small things. Small quite literally. This is a quite compact car, which means if you're carrying anyone around but yourself, there could be a bit cramped, and luggage space in the back isn't any good for anything more than maybe a weekend or a run up to the mountains for the night. The tech feels a little bit last generation, and that's to be expected because this Indy platform is getting on in age, and this 2-liter engine, though fantastic and free revving, lacks a little bit of torque down low. But if you get it up in the right place, it works fine. What's on top for the GT RS? Well, it's a topless treasure. I mean, this is a fantastic car and a platform that's been around for a while, and the philosophy still works. Lightweight, rigid, it's chuckable and fun, and there's so much great feel within the chassis. You can really tell Mazda's tried really hard, and it just begs for more. And if you're a purist driver like I am, it ticks all the right boxes. So what's my final verdict for the 2021 Mazda MX-5 GT RS? Well, this RS variant means it's added some sharpness to an already fantastic formula that Mazda, over the generations, has seemed to perfect. So if you're after a pure old school roadster with topless, lightweight fun, there really is no better choice. This car was already quite sharp, and it just made the Miata a little bit sharper. MX-5. Damn it. Just so we know, ladies and gentlemen, a Miata is what we used to race back home, and it became the MX-5 in the US. So in my head, this is still an MX-5. All right, Miata.